The build show is on the road today. I'm going to introduce you to the world's coolest family that actually owns and founded and is the future of Viewrail. Now, you know this company from their flight system, right? Check out these beautiful products. We're actually at their brand new showroom here in Goshen, Indiana, where they're from and where they actually make all these products. But in the build show today, Len's gonna take us on a behind the scenes tour. We're gonna show you how this company went from their garage 20 years ago to a whole lot more today. Today's build show is sponsored by Viewrail. Let's get going. Oh man, look at this building, Len. I love that you've got a Viewrail flight right here before we get into the manufacturing. Obviously, this is metal.
This is our metal plant, purpose-built for building stairs and railings.
That's what you guys are known for, that beautiful craftsmanship of metal.
Thank you.
And so all this is raw material that's gonna turn into different stair parts, especially maybe that mono stringer that I think of when I think of Viewrail, right?
Exactly. So trucks backing in here several times a week. We're unloading raw steel with the craneway, and then it is being processed on a daily basis. Whatever starts today will get finished today.
Is that right? Wow, how cool. And last time I was here, this operation was much smaller. You had forklifts going. So now everything's getting moved overhead, is that right?
When we built this plant, safety was our #1 goal. And so we wanted to reduce forklift traffic at all costs. And so a lot of craneways in here, a lot of safety oriented thinking.
That's really cool. And it all starts with the metal, right? So walk me through the line. What's that process of this metal getting to go from this into those beautiful finished stairs?
So manufacturing likes to work in a U. And so this is the beginning of the U on the left, and you're seeing the end product here on the right.
Look how precise all that machining is too. Holy cow. That's wild. And it's powder coated in this building as well?
Correct. The oven system is over there for powder coating. So the bake time is about 35 minutes. So every 35 minutes, you're gonna hear the chime, those doors are gonna open, and a fresh batch of powder coated stringers coming to you.
Hot cookies and powder coated stringers.
Yeah, we need a sign out there.
Fresh and hot like Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
I like it. Man, this is really cool. I want to see how some of your machines work.
So it's going to begin with this saw, and you're going to see a lot of computer-aided design everywhere we go, but not starting with this saw. This is a lot of craftsmanship, and the operator, believe it or not, tube has a lot of characteristics to it that the operator has to read in order to be able to lay it in there correctly and get it installed. Now, he does have the benefit of a laser, and this saw will tilt to within 0.1 degree.
Holy cow.
So that he can be very precise in the cut.
That's really neat. So this is basically one main flight from one story to another.
Correct.
So this could be, somebody's 10-foot tall ceilings going from the first floor to the second floor in their house anywhere in the US.
Or the Caribbean, North America, anywhere.
I love it. So you guys are actually exporting out of the US too.
Yeah. Some of the largest jobs we've had have been in the Caribbean.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Fascinating. That's really cool. Let's keep walking on the U. Okay, Len, so as we follow that U shape down, we've cut the stringer to length, and then obviously by the name, this is some type of CNC machine. What part is getting CNC'd here?
So we're CNCing the location for the mounting for the stringers.
Ah, gotcha.
So whatever features of that stringer, if it's got a cross piece coming into it, or if it's the bracketry to hold the stair treads. So the data is coming out of the 3D CAD model and feeding directly down into here, and this is running G-code to put the holes in the right spot.
So this is a CNC that can go cut, drill, and tap and die at the same time, I guess, right?
Yeah, so it's going to drill. We use a flow drilling, a friction drilling, where we're moving metal rather than removing it.
Oh, wow.
And then we're tapping it, as well as putting a few other features in.
So that's why I'm seeing metal that's rising up, because it's moving that metal rather than drilling it.
Correct.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Holy cow. And then everything, as you mentioned, just keeps moving this direction. What's next on the trip here?
Next, it's going to go to the welders, and the welders are going to grind all of those flanges and they're also going to put the mounting plates in. So if the certified welders that are doing the welding of those plates that you can see, they've been beveled, and the
so
welds
that's the mount plate on the top of the stringer, or bottom, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
You'll also see that every one of these stringers has a permanent dot peen in it to be able to identify it. So even after powder coat, when it gets out on your job site, you may have a complex job, you may have 10 stringers, and this gives you the map to be able to know where they all go, and you'll see, even if you lose all your paperwork, it's there forever.
It's there forever.
But it's hidden.
Wow, that's wild. All right, Len, so what's next here at this welding station?
So Viewrail's really working to support you guys as builders. And your houses are getting more complex.
Yes, they are.
They're getting a lot more features in it. And so we're customizing a lot of the attachment points. And this welding here is the plates and the attachment features, because we want them all buried inside a wall. We want them hidden. We don't want that out there obnoxious in front of you. And so that's what the team is doing, making it beautiful for you guys as builders.
I love seeing some real American craftsmen at work here. It's not just all machines doing the work. You got some really talented welders here as well.
We do.
That's really cool.
Very fortunate.
What's next on the line?
Let's go see how we're going to clean and prepare this for powder coating.
All right, next up, clean and prep. Okay, Len, so prep. I'm noticing you got aluminum and you've got some steel here. Is there a difference in how you treat those?
Absolutely, Matt. The aluminum and the stainless, it's going to get powder coated. Its exterior, we're just fastidious, passionate, overboard with the cleaning and prep. So we've got this robotic crane system. And so the robot is going to fully immerse. So we get a complete wash. So we're going to wash it, rinse it, do a zirconium pre-treatment on it for a rust inhibitor, and another rinse. And it's all on timing so that we know that things are really, really clean.
So pardon my ignorance, but I always think of aluminum as being a coastal product because it's naturally not going to rust. Why is so much prep on this aluminum then?
The aluminum's really going to corrode. It just doesn't turn brown. It turns white actually when it corrodes. So we have to get it so that the paint is going to grab really hard to the surface.
Gotcha.
So that's what the prep is about. It's an etching cleaning process. So it's kind of breaking that exterior layer so that the powder has something to grab a hold of.
Yeah, because I guess we haven't necessarily explained it. You guys are doing interior staircases, and that steel gets powder coated, but obviously there's not a lot of corrosion we're worried about on an inside staircase, but you're doing tons of exterior parts as well. And I learned the hard way as a young builder. I did a steel powder coated custom made railing that looked amazing the day I installed it. By the way, we had to spray paint all the weld areas, right? You couldn't powder coat that. And about a year and a half later, the customer called me and was like, "Man, we spent all this money on powder coating, it looks terrible." We're trying to avoid that here.
We're completely avoiding that. We have a really long warranty on our exterior aluminum, and we're warranting it right up onto the ocean.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, so clean and prep, what's next?
Next, we're gonna go into the first oven where we're gonna dry it off. We're also going to preheat the metal so that any trapped gases come out. Then we're going to be able to apply powder.
Cool, all right, let's keep going. All right, Len, for a builder who's never done powder coating before, explain what he's doing here.
So Jerry has really done a lot of the hard work already in preparing these parts. Been a lot of deburring, sanding, washing, getting them prepped. Now that they're prepped, he's applying the powder. So we're gonna negatively charge the entire cart. We have to have good continuity.
So there's a clip at the base of the cart there, and then it's being hung on steel hooks.
Yes.
So we get that current to run through there, and there's a negative charge, and the powder positively wants to stick to it, right?
You got it, exactly. And so as you see the powder coming out of the gun, it is drawn. And because of that effect, it puts a very even coating onto the part.
Yep.
Because as the powder builds up, there's a little less conductivity. But that doesn't deny the skill that Jerry has. He makes it look easy, but it's not easy.
So in other words, this is not an airless sprayer like we see at the job that's you know, got a force behind it. This is literally like a powder gun puffing powder onto that negatively charged metal. And then I'm guessing this is a big oven right behind me next, right?
It's a big oven.
So how hot does the powder coating need to get to, and how long does it need to be there?
There are a couple of different cure curves depending on what powder that we're applying, and we'll apply the right recipe. But I think it's pretty safe to say 420 degrees in this oven for 35 minutes.
Oh wow, okay, so it's pretty hot. And then is this a cart that's been powder coated already, or is that about to be?
This one is staged. You can see these blue lines on the floor. So we're staging, and that's the next cart to go in.
Okay, so that's gonna roll in here in a minute.
Yes.
I gotcha.
So when that timer goes off, it's going to be a drill where everybody's coming over here. They want to unload the oven and get new parts in there, because we're only making parts for you as builders when those doors are closed. So we're going to open and close those doors as quickly as possible.
Gotcha. Yeah, plus we want to preserve that 420 degrees.
Exactly.
We spend a lot of money to heat that. We want to keep that heat in place. And then talk to me about options for powder coat. You know, we're seeing a lot of black here, but that's not the only option with you guys, right?
We're going to powder coat a lot of colors every day. Our palette is growing all the time. I'd say right now our palette is over 20 colors. And occasionally we'll run a custom color for a really special job for a builder or a designer. But we're going to be changing colors throughout the day, and we try to finish the day on black.
Yeah, love it. Now I do want to mention, I've powder coated in the past, and I said this story earlier where we had powder coated parts that then needed welded together. And as Jerry rolls this cart by, you can see the secret sauce here. All these parts are going to be bolted together later. So there's no welding on site. There's no hot work on the job site. There's nothing that's going to need touched up with a rattle can later. All these beautifully coated at the factory parts are going to remain beautifully coated, right? Am I saying that correctly?
That's what I lay awake at night, is figuring out ways that we don't ever have to lay down a bead on a job site. It's not safe. Welders are in high demand. It's slow, and then it breaks all of that great quality of finish that we put on here in the factory.
Yeah, and that's really why you want a company like Viewrail doing this rather than your local welder, because they've got full control in this. They've got all the creativity of you and your design team, but these guys can make that come to life, ship it to the job, fully finished, and basically a parts kit. It's like assembling that big Lego set that we all built as kids, right? Everything's ready to go, it bolts together, and it looks beautiful. Let's keep going on the process. What's next?
You know, Matt, we've showed you a lot of what you thought was really fun and cool, but I've got to get these parts labeled so that you know how to work with them.
Right.
And I also got to put a wire harness in it so that you can light it up on your job site. So let's go see it.
All right, see you there.
Matt, we've put our minds to doing a lot of hard things. I think the hardest thing we've had to put our mind to is the labeling and the instructions.
I mean, you guys are really good at that, Len. When I've been on the job with your products, I've been fascinated with, number one, look how well this actual part is labeled. We know exactly what's in there. By the way, this is not light. This is a piece of metal stringer, I suspect, along with these connection plates and these screws going to this job. Really gonna get off the freight truck, no problem, because it's been handled and packaged so well. But not only that, you guys are including really good instructions with what to do with all these parts as well. And I guess we haven't even mentioned this yet. They have a full team of 600 installers around the country. So if you as a builder don't feel like you want to do this yourself, you can actually have these guys do it for you across the country.
That's a really big expansion we've done over the last 3 years, is to train up all of these partners and get them up to speed on how does our system work, so that they're well prepared. What are the gotchas? What are the things to look out for?
Yeah. We got a lot more to go though, because this is just the steel plant.
Yeah.
What's next on the tour?
Let's go see how we make an aluminum post or a stainless steel post.
Oh, very cool. I like that. Keep following us, guys. All right, Len, I don't typically think of electricity and steel going together. What's happening over here?
So we put an automotive grade wire harness inside of the stringer, so there's just an easy connection point to be able to light the treads. And then we're putting the power driver and the controller inside. We're pairing it up so that when it comes out, all you have to do as a builder is bring 120 volts to this.
Oh, wow.
And you're ready to go.
And does this get epoxied in the stringer, or how's that get mounted?
No, we know if there's anything that's going to need to be serviceable, it's going to be this driver. And so it's magneted in.
Oh, look at that. That's really smart.
Yeah.
So he just slides it in that hole, magnets in, so in 20 years, if this goes out, I can easily change that, no problem.
It is a very serviceable part.
Oh, that's really cool. And these wiring harnesses basically just clip together so that when we put those treads on, Now I can get that underlighted tread all the way up. It's fabulous. If you haven't seen it, go check out some of their products like at the International Builder Show or now your new showroom here. That's a really cool differentiator, because if I do a staircase on site with a local welder, I'm sure not going to be able to do that.
It's been a lot of fun to introduce this and to find ways to make sure that you're never seeing a wire. It's completely hidden. You just see the light.
That's pretty awesome. I feel like we've hit most of the metal fab. Is there some other areas of metal fab we've missed though?
You know, we're lasering and press braking. There's so much we could show you, Matt, but we don't have weeks to show it all to you, but I think we've hit the highlights.
All right, let's go see our next stop.
Hey Matt, welcome to the aluminum cell, and I'm ready to put you to work.
All right, is it time for me to do some work?
It's time for you to do some work. So Dustin's gonna be your mentor.
Okay.
Dustin wants you to show him how to do it, and then we'll let Matt build a post.
All right, Dustin, show me what I need to do.
All right.
So he's grabbing an aluminum post. By the way, this is coated on the base, so we know the computer knows what we're about to do, I'm assuming, right? Yep. Oh, I see. So we're scanning it right here, and that feeds into all the future things as well.
It turned a light on, Matt, so you know which post style to
no
grab.
way, that's awesome. Okay, I got it.
You line this up right with the QR code here.
Gotcha. And then this press is doing all the work for you.
Yep. Right in there. Green button.
And we stay back. Keep your hands out, obviously.
Go ahead and put your hand in there, Matt.
No, I'm good, brother. How much force does that need to push that into place?
It's about 1,500 pounds,
Okay.
and you see we have a sensor there, and it is...
oh, your hands are in there. It stops.
Yeah, and we're also
Smart.
sensing as that travels down to make sure that we get a precise fit on every one of them.
Gotcha. So now I can grab the part out, right?
Yep.
And then what's next in the process here?
You set it down here, you EC check it. So you look for any scratches, dents, engravings.
We're looking to see if there's anything we need to. Like there's a little spot right there. We need to remove that, right? Okay, that looks better. What am I missing? Oh, there's one. Because later we're gonna bead blast this, aren't we, in the process? Oh,
Absolutely, man. We'll do a shot blast to it, but we're trying to get any big gouges that happen during handling.
Got it. Okay, looks pretty good. How'd I do?
Good. Really good. Yep.
Okay, then what's next in the process?
Then you'll take it, you'll put this side facing straight up.
Okay. Does it matter which way goes first?
That way first.
That way first, okay. And then which lane does it need to go in? Right in here. Check that out. And then what are the robots about to do to this? What's next on this robot side?
Let's go down and take a look.
Okay, so we got a full cage now. Don't get your hands in here.
Right, so the sensor is saying the robot in the mill are working right now, so just wait a minute until this lane gets empty.
I didn't even notice. So we got a full mill that's gonna machine this part, and there's one in there at the moment.
Correct.
And so the robot is gonna automatically open the doors in the mill, grab the part, put it back on the line, and probably grab the next part. Oh, check that out, that's really cool. Even drains the cutting fluid. So we machined all of the holes that are gonna go for our either rod rail or cable rail, right?
Correct, and that code that you saw on there, the sensor is going to read that code, and that is going to feed the data into the mill to tell it where to put the holes, what size of holes they need to be. They need to be a threaded hole.
Yep.
So here we go. This is your post, Matt.
So this is my post. So it just opened up the gate, it slid it down, and now the robot's gonna grab it and put it in the CNC machine. Len, these aluminum posts, I have these at my house.
You do?
Because I did a Viewrail rod rail system. So these holes could either get cable or rod. I chose the rod.
Right.
And I chose my finish on these as well, but these look like they're all prepped for powder coating. Is that what's happening here?
They're almost prepped for powder coating. We have taken them, we've shot blasted them, which is the first step. That's the belt. And then we're gonna put on the suspenders, which is the wash.
So shot blast is kind of like BBs that are hitting this, is that right?
Yes, 4 20 horsepower motors just throwing stainless steel.
Oh, stainless, interesting.
It gives an etch to the outside. It also removes any of the welding smut. It's going to blend any surface imperfections and give the powder something to bite to.
That robot welder did a really nice job. There's some good looking beads on there, very consistent too. Of course, that's all going to get hidden by the powder coating that's happening.
It is, but what isn't going to get hidden is that's a structure that's going to keep you, your family, and everyone who visits your home safe.
Safe, yeah. Because if you bump that railing, you don't want that thing cracking off.
Right, and so ICC, who has given us a ESR on this product, they really want to know about our robot welding, and they want to see our certifications and our training levels to that.
Gotcha.
It's a really important piece for public safety.
Yeah, that makes sense, because these are being used for guardrails on houses and commercial projects. Now, what's the shark cages that I'm seeing up here? What is this? What's happening here?
This is our wash process. So it's a 5-stage wash. After it has been shot blasted, we're going to dip it in the 140-degree cleaning solution. We're going to rinse, do a zirconium rust inhibitor, a final rinse, then we're going to hang it on the line, and it'll go through the line and get powder coated.
Got it. So each one of those aluminum posts gets hung here. This weaves its way through an automated machine that's going to spray on the powder and then bake it all on the same line. Is that right?
Exactly.
Oh, that's really cool. No wonder these are so high quality. Very impressive process. She's taking a last look for QC, I'm guessing.
She is, and now she's going to put a plastic protective sleeve over it before it gets into the packaging. She's going to do a scan. So the scan is from the dot beam to make sure that we've got the right part is going to be shipping out to the right customer.
Got it. And then this is what mine look like when they ship to me. It looks like almost like a golf set, right? We got a separate slot for each one of those in the golf bag.
We do, like, as I was talking to you on the steel, the really hard part is to make it easy for the human to interact with it.
Yep.
And so we are putting this packaging together so that you've got great clarity as soon as you get the box. What does every post do? Where does every post go? And it corresponds to the map that we give you in the instruction booklet.
That's really cool, yeah. And look at these finished ones that are about to go out to a job site. We know exactly where each one of these goes. Everything's labeled beautifully. And again, protected super well, because we spent a lot of time and effort making sure that powder coating looks awesome. We want to make sure it looks the same way when I take it out on the job site.
Exactly.
Well done. That's pretty much the end of the line here, right?
It is.
Super cool. Do we have any time to go see glass fab or some of the other stuff you got going on here?
We can go see the wood shop, the glass factory, it's up to you.
Let's keep going. We got lots more to show you from Viewrail. Okay, Len, so now we're at the post-painting plant. Talk to me about how this works.
So we're just in time, Matt, because this big stick right here, that's the done stick. Everybody's done for the day. There's one last post that's going to be going through. So we have measured the size as it goes through this tunnel, and the powder application robot is going to turn on only when the part is in the right location.
Oh,
so we're conserving as much powder as possible.
So it knows exactly where it is.
It knows exactly the size and where it's at. Matt, this is how we're able to compete with imported product on quality, but we also have to automate to be cost effective.
Yep.
So this is an aluminum extruded part.
Okay.
In an extrusion, there's very few pores in it. A cast part, which is what most of the imported stuff is, there's a lot of porosity. That means there's a lot of traps of contaminants. We can't get a good quality of paint in the harsh environments on a cast part. It's just impossible due to the process.
The imperfections.
The imperfections and the trappings in that porosity. You look at it under a microscope, it's just not the same. But this extruded part, it's a very tight, very consistent grain structure, and so paint's gonna stick to it for a long time. That's great, but then you gotta make it affordable. So what we're doing, Jeremy is laying up hundreds of these, and then he's gonna turn this robot on, and it's gonna work all night, and it is going to mill this part, and he's gonna come back tomorrow morning, and all of these are gonna be done.
Is that right? Wow.
So gonna work unattended overnight.
That's so cool. So he'll go home and sleep while this thing's rocking away on these parts. And this is what it's gonna make right here?
That's what it's gonna make, which is an end cap.
Oh yeah, okay, so just like I pressed it on.
You got it.
Got it. Oh, that's really neat.
Over here's another fun one, Matt.
So these are milling CNCs that are milling aluminum billet, basically.
Correct.
Got it. Very
Here's
cool.
another fun one. It's going to start out as a it looks like a railroad tie, and it's going to end up being a glass clamp, as you said.
Yep.
Now, a lot of my friends said, like, Len, you just can't get this done out of aluminum. I said, thanks. Now I got some reason to get up tomorrow morning. And so we have found some pretty special ways that maybe I'll tell you tonight over dinner on how to strengthen this aluminum.
Oh, really?
And we've got an ICC ESR on it.
Wow, cool.
Which means I can coat this in so many different finishes. It can last, and it can look really good for
And
a
a piece of
long time.
guardrail glass can actually fit in there, right?
Exactly.
It's a structural glass.
Yeah, and there's
That's really neat.
There's the attachment, which also compensate for tilt.
Yep.
It's really
Wow, that's really
slick.
cool, and I love seeing that.
I'll give you a peek in
American
there.
ingenuity right there.
5-axis CNC machine, US made CNC machine, and we're whittling out some aluminum in very short order.
Oh my gosh.
The neat thing about this aluminum, it came from an extrusion facility that we've got investment in, and it's just 10 miles down the road.
Oh, is that right?
And so all of the chips we can then repurpose, send it back to the facility.
Oh
and
my
they're
gosh.
It's a very closed loop
So you're not throwing any of that aluminum away. It's all getting recycled back to the plant.
Exactly.
I got to compliment you real quick here, Len. You've been in business how many years now?
20-ish.
20-ish years. I think you mentioned you have 400 employees.
Yes.
I've yet to walk by somebody that Len didn't know their name. How do you know everyone's name, Len? 400 people's a lot.
They're what's important to me. We learn what's important to us, Matt.
People say, and this is, I'm quoting Len here, people say, oh, I'm not good with names, and yet they can quote their favorite Steelers stat from the 1970s. And Len said to me, people remember what's important to them. Thank you, Len. You're an incredible business owner, and that's the kind of stuff that makes me want to do business with you.
Thanks,
I really
Len.
appreciate that.
Thank you, Ryan. Matt, we're up on the engineering mez, and this overlooks all that manufacturing.
It's a pretty
that you
stellar
just saw.
view for these guys, I gotta say.
So it keeps our manufacturing and engineering really tightly coupled, because you guys are building and asking from us more and more complex things. And
For
I'll
sure.
show you a fairly complex one that Ryan is working on. You can see we've got multiple stairways, bridges, stairways
Oh my
stacked
gosh.
on top of one another.
Wow.
And there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, there is.
And we're working to model out the environment. And what's going to happen once Ryan is complete with this, he's going to send you an approvals packet. Once you approve it, it's going to go boom into all of our manufacturing plants with the data right out of this 3D model.
So in other words, glass, wood, steel, everything's happening kind of simultaneously once that order gets released.
Once that order gets released, and it's going to have 2 weeks to get to the shipping point where it's going to get shipped, it's going to be sent to your job site.
Oh, wow. And how many shipping points around the U.S. do you have? Is everything coming out of here in Goshen, Indiana?
So it's going to be distributed to our 7 distribution centers that are all over the country,
Gotcha.
strategically located. So we're delivering nearly everything on our own truck.
Wow, that's amazing. And as we said earlier, you've got 600 installers out there across the nation. Or you could, like I'm capable now of doing it after I've done several, or my guys can do it myself.
And Matt, we really want to lean into having your guys come and be a part of the certification process. We don't charge for it. In fact, we'll put them up for a night in a hotel because we believe the more your people know, the better they are going to be able to serve you and to work with us.
All right, and then you're going to do a Viewrail on every project because it went so perfectly that you know how to do it, and it's a no-brainer when it shows up.
Yeah, so send your folks here. We want to train you.
Very cool. Let's keep moving on the tour. All right, Len, next up on the tour, my nose tells me I'm gonna like this part of the factory tour. Woods.
This is a lot of fun. Woodshop is where we began.
Yeah,
And so this
yeah,
is always where my heart's gonna be.
So if you don't know the story, Len started the company a little over 20 years ago out of your garage.
Yeah.
Weren't you a youth pastor at the time?
I was a pastor of a church.
And you started a online stair parts company, and you were actually making some parts at the time, is that right?
We were making a few things in our garage in the evenings and
Having some Amish guys make some for you too, isn't that right?
we got, so I couldn't do it all in the garage. We started farming out the Amish guys, and It's come full circle.
I love it. Brazilian cherry, American cherry, poplar, hard maple. I saw walnut right behind us. Minus the Brazilian cherry, this is all domestic woods, right?
It is, and that's a real rarity. I'm a little surprised to see it here, but we have seen just an incredible resurgence of the high quality American woods.
I love it.
Walnut and white oak in particular.
I mean, I use white oak all over my house. In fact, my treads came from you as well. In white oak, all my floors are white oak. But we see a lot of walnut, but frankly, you're still gonna use in any project, a lot of poplar. Maple's an incredible wood to use, and it's so fun to see this from American forests. Now, how much of this that we're seeing in this plant goes out in your Viewrail flight system?
Well, nearly everything here is going to be a part of our flight system. We also have an integrated flooring line where we can make your flooring and your stair treads out of the same bunk of lumber, out of the same part of the forest.
So it would look really exactly alike.
It is.
Oh, that's very cool. I didn't know you guys are doing that.
Yeah.
Let's go see a couple of your machines, shall we?
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, Len, what is this giant machine doing for us here?
This is actually the largest machine of its type in North America, and it just builds stair treads.
Oh my gosh.
So what we've gone to, because with so many demanding environments, Texas is becoming one of them, but think Denver, think Phoenix, that are incredibly dry.
Yeah.
And when things really dry out, we see a lot of shrinkage. And so we've had to go to a more composite manufacturing with a blend of hardwoods and of engineered woods to get the performance that we wanted. So we're loading up this stair tread and we're applying a thick lamella. Now, what some people might think is like thicker is better. Not really, because in the engineering process, it's a Goldilocks problem. It's just right, just in the middle, not too thick, not too thin, so that we have the right amount of stability. We spend a lot of time discovering that.
If I could take an analogy from my world, this is a stave core door.
It is.
Right? It's
exactly.
an engineered core. This looks like a really high-grade OSB product that you've glued together on that machine over there. So it's thoroughly glued all the way. So now I've got a core that's totally stable, despite Houston being hot and humid and Denver being arid and dry. That core is not going anywhere.
Right.
And then you put a thick enough veneer on there that even if it takes a beating or it needs to be sanded, it still acts and looks like a solid wood tread. But every builder has put a big timber in at one point that was solid, and as it shrunk, it started cracking and looking bad, and the clients were PO'd, and you said, well, that's what happens with solid timbers, Mr. and Mrs. Client. We can't get a kiln-dried timber that's not gonna see any checking or cracking on us forever, so this is how you achieve that.
Waiting on you to get a good cut point.
So this is how you achieve that.
Exactly. And getting this process is taking us a lot of time, because you hit on an important word. It's way more than just a high-grade OSB. We've had to find the right press strength, the right thicknesses, the right glue makeup to get the incredible performance, the screw holding performance also.
Right. And it looks, I had no idea that's the core. It looks like a solid walnut tread, a solid white oak tread, but that's how you get that no checking performance. And like I said earlier, it's the same as that stave core door that I always use when I'm laminating doors, let's say for my hidden doors in the job, because I want that stave core to have a solid core to receive all my fasteners, whether that's nails or screws. So you got that same performance going on with your treads.
And I'm sure it's just like on your doors. We'll have customers that are going to request a butcher block glued up style, and we'll still do that. We did a lot of them, but I'm not providing a warranty on it. This is a product I can warranty.
Yeah, that's really awesome. This is quite a machine. It's fun to see this side too as it's going through. It's doing all that laminating, it's cutting, it's trimming. Is it even sanding in here as well?
It's doing the round over so that all the corners are round over in an integrated process. And then we're going to do a little bit of machine sanding, but we're also going to do some hand sanding, because there's still the craftsmanship element that our customers demand.
Can I see one of these cores that are right? I'm going to grab one off your line here.
We're going going to call this a lamello.
A lamello. So this is still really thick.
Think premium hardwood flooring.
Right, right. That's beautiful. This is white oak, it looks like.
It is.
That's beautiful. And I also noticed while he's on the line, he's looking at each individual piece and making sure that last set of eyes from a woodworker to go, would I want this on my stair or not?
Exactly.
So I suspect you have very little call at the end.
Very little.
Yeah. This is really cool to see. I like this.
Matt, we're in the final QC station before we go to finish. So Roman is looking for any small imperfections, hand sanding, and also putting in those screws, which are going to be the hard points for attaching the magnets to attach the covers.
Oh, gotcha.
But you see the lighting, you see the setup here.
Yeah, it feels like a Mercedes-Benz finish line right here.
It's an eye for detail line.
Yeah, that's really neat.
What it's all about. You want to try your hand?
Yeah, can I?
Yeah, let's have you sand one.
So don't round over.
Correct. No, don't round over.
Yep.
I just want you on like this and these transition points.
Got it. So be really cautious on the transitions. Hope I don't mess this up. I like how quiet the sander is.
We maintain the muffler. When the muffler wears out, they get noisy.
Is that right?
Yep.
I like that. That feels good. Wow. Very nice. Downdraft table too, so it's grabbing all the all the dust free.
We're very concerned about the working environment for our employees, and that kind of shows in the cleanliness of the shop. Our dust collection, our commitment to cleanliness is high.
That's really cool. I love the lights too. I gotta say, you can really see what you're working on here. That's really nice. All right, Len, the finish is incredible on your products. I suspect that this is one of your favorite parts of the process.
It is, and we put so much effort in it. See, we're hand applying the stain where we're hand wiping it. We're not just kind of spraying something and let it sink on the surface.
Oh, man,
we'll be doing
really
glazes, wire brush to get a multiple layers of finish.
Yep.
And it's a really special process. Once this is done, then we can apply the sealer and the top coat.
And that's all happening behind us here, I suspect?
Actually, that's going to happen on the conveyor line.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So this area is only for stains, and then sealants happen at the end.
Correct. So we can start a piece and it be to the packaging line and ready to ship to you in about 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow. Fast.
Yeah.
And is that because you're UV curing stuff?
Or
is there not a long dry time needed here?
It's an infrared. And so we're using mostly acrylic-based product, so it's very safe.
Yeah, water-based.
And yes, and then we're able to cure it with the infrared. So it takes about 3 minutes to cure. Then you're able to sand, put the final coat on. What times it's at the end of the tunnel, it'll be ready to ship.
Holy cow, that's amazing. 3 minutes to finish. That's pretty cool. All right, Len, so we got an automated trolley. These have an acrylic finish on them, and what's the light for at the end here?
It's an infrared curing tunnel, and so it's a special wavelength of infrared light that penetrates, and it's actually going to cure from the outside in.
Oh, wow. And this takes, what, an hour or two in here, or what?
It's going to be running through this tunnel in about 3 minutes.
Oh, really fast.
By the time it hits the end of the tunnel, it's going to be cured to the touch. We can scuff sand it, put the final top coat on it, another 3 minutes in the second tunnel, and it's ready to ship to your job site.
Oh my gosh, that's way faster than I would have expected. So no, shut the job site down for 24 hours for that final coat on your hardwood floors. Like, this is ready to ship almost immediately.
Exactly, same day.
That's really cool. So final tread, ready to be packaged up.
It is. What's fun to see on this, I see a number of details that jump out to me. The LED light is already installed.
Yep.
And see how we're hiding the wires because our 5-axis CNC actually drilled a hole in there inside of that so that we're able to tuck the wires so you never see them.
And then this is where that harness comes in that we saw earlier. This just plugs right in.
It's all coming together for you, isn't it?
That's really neat.
Yeah. So
and then these screws are the magnets that hold the plate on.
You got it.
So all that's totally hidden.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a massive house, Matt. And here's how I can tell. This is System M in this house, and it started with A.
Somebody bought a big order from Viewrail.
Somebody is building a huge house. It's tread number 2 of System M in this place.
I love it. So what's the packaging look like on this? How do you get this to the job site and make it look like today?
So I'm delivering it on my own truck.
Okay, that makes a big difference.
It makes a big difference.
UPS isn't dinging it up for you.
It just isn't possible. It's going to be my forklift drivers, my control of our team who really cares about this stuff. So our damage is virtually zero. So we've got this foam in between them. It's going to get cardboard around, and it's going to get banded, and then it's just going to be cared about the whole way there.
Yeah. Your own Viewrail trucks makes a huge difference in this process.
Yeah, really changed the game for us.
Totally does. Man, what a process. All in one woodworking roof. Boy, this is incredible. What an operation. Let's keep going. All right, Len, giant amount of equipment in here for glass.
Yeah.
As far as I know, you're the only person I can order from and get everything all in one package, right? Like if I'm building a set of stairs on site, I got some fabulous welders in my town, but it's a piecemeal process where I got to install a stair, get a separate woodworker often to do my treads, and then when it comes to glass, I got to have everything in place, get my glass guy out to measure, and then wait weeks and weeks or months and months, and then put my glass in. It's just this long, drawn out process. By you having this in one building, now I can order from you guys and even get the glass. And talk to me about this. This isn't just any glass, right?
Yeah, Matt, you're exactly right on us shipping everything together as one unit because we're controlling all of the environment. We build it in our CAD model and we know the holes are. The only thing I'm going to let in my building is Starfire glass. And we just want that ultra clear clarity that you want. And there are two things I think we've really built. We built incredible equipment. We've also matched it with a great culture. And we have a culture of excellence on our laminated glass where we have an edge that is just unmatched in the industry. Because builders like you, architects are demanding it, designers are demanding it. They want a clean edge with no top cap. And when it needs to be laminated, it's got to be perfect.
So let's back up a little bit. For the builders who don't know what we're talking about, we say laminated. We all remember tempered, right? That's when you break the glass by accident, it kind of cracks up and there's no sharp edges. But laminated glass is like your windshield, where there's actually a film in between two panes. And we saw your saran wrap machine over here that lays out the film. You really don't see the film. It totally disappears in there.
Completely.
So you guys are taking two pieces of glass, laminating it on site, and that way when I get my package, all that, for lack of a better term, structural glass comes out in the package, right?
It does.
Can we call it structural glass?
You just did.
Ish.
Yeah.
The point is we can bang against it and it's holding us back as a guardrail. So it is rated to a certain amount of pounds of force.
To that, and we can show you our in-house testing lab where we're testing it. In fact, why don't we go test? I'll let you test a piece of laminated glass, and you can be the judge to see if you think it's structural. You want to give it a try?
I'm a little worried for my bodily safety, but let's go check it out.
Let's go. So Matt, you called it structural glass.
Okay.
So we're going to find out how structural it is.
All right, what are we looking at here? What is this thing?
So we've got a pane of laminated glass, and this is actually an ASTM test rig that we built here to meet the ASTM standards. You see there's a steel ball. We're going to raise the steel ball up to that height.
Oh, dang.
And we, as in you, are going to drop it and see what happens.
All right, let's do it.
If the steel ball goes through, then you failed.
We failed the test.
Yes.
All right, I'm a little nervous. I have my safety glasses on. Ding, 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 ding. All right, so how does this work?
Pull this.
So this raises the ball up.
And it's on a magnet. When it gets up there, it'll pull it off.
All right, so it's about to get up. Oh, okay. Oh my. I think we passed, Len.
We passed.
It automatically dropped the ball off. I wasn't expecting that part.
So I want to congratulate you on the pass, but nobody has ever failed
really?
At Viewrail.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
So if we can break it down, there's two panes of glass, there's plastic in the middle, and it's that plastic that kept that ball from getting through there and kept it from shattering through the other side. just like when a bird hits your windshield, you don't get hit by the bird in the face. Your windshield on that laminated glass stops it. Same exact process here. So this is all tempered glass, but it's laminated. You can see that two pieces where they come together, there's a little bit of the glass that came forward where the ball was. If you can flip that for us, show us the backside, you can see that that glass on this side stayed put. It adhered to the lamination. And that's what gives it its structure. And that steel ball is not a small ball. That thing weighs what, a couple pounds?
6 pounds.
6 pounds. And how many feet high was that?
12 foot.
12 foot, 6 pound ball. That's pretty legit. That's a cool test. So that's actually an ASTM test. How cool. Thanks, guys. Len, you know, my team's been working with your team on something special, and I actually don't know the specifics other than I heard the architect was looking for something a little different. Did you have a little mock-up for me today? Is that what we're about to see?
We did something just for you. And the architect designed a rod railing, and the thought would be it would be welded on site.
Okay.
And just as we talked about earlier today, welding on site has a lot of problems. And so we have needed the push to design a system that is modular, has no exposed fasteners, kind of looks like it was welded, but it's not. This is the magic we come up with.
Boy, this is really pretty. I like this. So this is a mock-up of what it would look like, and I'm noticing that the verticals are really nice and thin. It looks like the proportions are right, but I have no idea how this is put together. It looks like this looks like a welded system.
It really does, and it's also adjustable on site. So it can be trimmed down, and so if you need to order before the deck is built because you're on a tight timeline, you can order all of this, trim it on site, put it back together, and not have to do any finishing or any welding and get this beautiful look.
That's pretty cool. So this isn't on the market yet, but it might be very soon, and my company would be the prototype. And Len, are these kind of mock-ups that you made in getting there and trying to figure out what to make?
Here are all of the misses. And we would show it to your team and they'd say, maybe not, can you do a little bit better? And so we worked and worked and worked, and this is the beauty of our company being national. We don't have to just do something once. We get to expand upon this and build this, and we're gonna do this hundreds, probably thousands of times.
That's pretty cool. This is their Skunk Works building where these guys mock stuff up, figure it out for various architects and designers and builders across the country. And then once they figure it out, they unveil it to the rest of the world. I think you guys are bringing extreme craftsmanship to job sites all over America. And you know what? When people walk into my houses and see your staircases, they don't go, man, what a beautiful Viewrail flight system. They say, man, those Reisinger guys did a gorgeous job. Look at this incredible staircase. And my team gets the credit for it, Len. So you guys, I hate to say it, but you often get put into the background. But it's one of the things I love about working with you is that craftsmanship that you guys have right here built in the heart of America. I get to display on my job site, and my team gets the credit for it. It's really one of the fun things about working with you guys.
We love to support builders.
Let's go see what else we can find here at the Viewrail campus. All right, y'all, let me introduce you to Marcy Morris. Marcy, you and Len founded the company like literally out of your garage, right? All those years ago, like 20-ish years ago?
Yeah, about 23 years ago, our garage in northern Indiana. We had 2 little boys at the time, put the boys to bed, and he and I would go out in the garage and run trim and stain it, finish it, all in our garage.
And this was at the start of the internet, really, right? I remember I sent my first email in 1995.
Right.
So you guys were on the cusp of this new thing, which was ordering stuff on the interwebs, as we call them.
Right, and that toll-free number on the internet rang to my cell phone.
Did it really?
And I would answer that phone non-stop throughout the day. He'd come home from his day job, I'd hand him the phone, I'd try and make dinner to take care of 2 little boys. It was nuts.
I love it. That's fantastic. And now look at you guys. You have 400 employees now.
We do.
You're making some incredible stuff right here in the heart of America. What's the future look like? What do you think Viewrail is going to look like in another 10 or 20 years? Can you forecast for us at all?
I wish I had a crystal ball, but I don't. But I think it's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to evolve.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to see what's next.
I think it's so cool that you still have your family's values. Like I was walking through the plant today with Len, and there was not a single person he didn't know their name.
That is incredible. He is much better at that than I am.
Well,
Yeah.
I got to say, everybody knew him. He knew everybody.
Yeah.
It really does feel like a family business still. And that's hard when you've got 400 employees.
Right,
That's
right.
not easy to maintain that. I have 40 people in my two companies. And as we get bigger, I worry that we're going to lose that connection between folks. Do you guys do anything as a corporate-wide or as a family-wide Christmas party or 4th of July party or anything?
Definitely, yeah. Our Christmas party is for employees only. We hold a lunch and bring everybody together for that. He and I have a tradition, Len and I have a tradition of reading the Christmas story out of the Bible.
That's
and
awesome.
Bringing up some grandkids possibly if they're there and let them hear the Christmas story from Nana and Paps. And then in the summer we do a huge event for all of the families out at the airport. So we've got the great outdoors as our landscape, and that's a lot of fun.
That's really cool. Well, Marcy, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at the International Builder Show this year.
Definitely.
This giant display you guys actually pack up from your showroom here and take out to Las Vegas for that show.
Right.
But in the meantime, people can actually come now here, right? You're actually
Definitely.
inviting architects and builders and remodelers and designers out to see these products and work with your team one-on-one rather than over a Zoom call, let's say.
Right, we just hosted about 70 people last week in this space, and they got to tour the entire company, had a great time with them.
That's really cool. Marcy, thank you for having me out to
Thanks so much, Matt.
Goshen, Indiana
Yep.
for the heart of Viewrail country. Great to see you, Marcy.
Good to see you.
Appreciate it. All right, guys, Graham Morris. Now, Graham, you spend a lot of time on the R&D side of this business. I gotta say, one thing that I was really excited about when I visited you guys for the first time years ago is that there's actually men and women working with their hands, working with metal, and showing off their craftsmanship. What is it about working with metal that you like and that you find satisfying?
Metal's just kind of a fun substrate of, it can be cold and it can be kind of heartless, but it also has a pretty awesome opportunity to make something really special.
Yeah, and what is it about this flight system that speaks to you? Like, are you a modern design guy, or do you just happen to have this as your medium, but you could do anything when it comes to metal?
So I welded probably the first 50 floating stairways that we ever shipped here.
That's awesome.
So floating stairways are pretty near and dear to the heart, and it's pretty amazing to see how far we have came.
Yeah.
And you can't even see the welds anymore. They're all designed to be hidden. So it's pretty amazing how we are working with metal, but we're also trying to hide it as well as we do.
I was telling your dad a story. Years ago, I had a job that I did an outdoor metal stair rail and a ton of powder coated work. And what I didn't realize when I was powder coating it at a factory was when we got to the job, we had a ton of job site welding to do.
Yep.
And we rattle canned all those welds. And the client called me after, it wasn't even 9 months probably. I think I may have said 18 months earlier, but they called me like, man, it's rusting everywhere. And it was one of those aha moments to me, like, oh, like if we're gonna factory powder coat this and make it beautiful, we gotta be cautious about how much we pull out the welder on the job site. I think it's fascinating how you guys have really thought about that total package. Talk to me about that process of like prototyping things and figuring out, hey, is this gonna work? Do you actually install them at your houses, at your friends' houses, at the shop spaces, things like that?
Yeah, we've installed quite a few systems. I've installed quite a few systems at my house as well as friends' houses. We really like to be hands-on with our product and design. We really like to think of the installer as we're designing. The other part of our design is we don't limit ourselves to traditional thinking.
Yeah.
We have all these abilities in sheet metal and machining. We often make our own fasteners to unlock that opportunity to kind of really design things for the installer.
So talk to me about that. Making your own fasteners, as in using your CNC machines to actually make something to connect things that isn't on the market, that isn't in the Grainger catalog, let's say?
Yeah, if you ever look at our quick slide handrail screws, it's somewhere between a low profile socket head and a flathead screw. If you look at that, there's a little bit of a hodgepodge design, but it was a thing that didn't exist but needed to perform a very unique function. And those are the kind of things that we have designed freedom of. Make it yourself.
Graham, I heard I'm supposed to ask you what you've been doing the last year. It sounds like you may have a new project in mind.
So we are deeply diving into the world of flooring manufacturing, and we aren't building that 6 and 7 inch kind of solid floor. We're building the really unique flooring requests. And so when we are wanting 12-inch wide lumber, we're going and we're sourcing the lumber to produce that. And then kind of even one step further is we just finished our first order of 16-inch wide white oak flooring, 19 feet long and plank. Spent a lot of time walking around sawmills and looking at timber, and we are actually procuring the logs, sawing the timber, and we're doing a little bit of dabbling in lumber drying as well.
Oh my gosh.
Playing with all things lumber is kind of what my last year's looked like.
That's pretty fun. So in other words, these beautiful treads you see here,
yeah.
People say, hey, how am I gonna match that in the field? Now you can say, well, actually, you could buy the floor from us as well.
That's right.
And it might even be the same logs that you make the treads from as you make the flooring from. Am I hearing that right?
That is the intention, is one log has the opportunity to make your entire system.
Wow, that's pretty cool. What's more fun for you, the wood side or the metal side?
I tend to have a short attention span, and I like that high variation and that high level of learning new substrates.
Yeah.
And so got a lot of years of metalworking, and woodworking has been a fun new experience to kind of learn about timber to plank.
I think it's interesting. Your mom and dad started with wood in the garage when you were probably a little tyke.
Yep.
And then you've gone on to metal, and now just the last couple of years you've added glass. What other mediums are we going to be adding to the Viewrail family at some point?
That's always the evolving question.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what that next thing is.
There's going to be a carbon fiber lab here, or I'm trying to think of some other exotic space age NASA material that you guys are going to get into next.
Those conversations tend to always be floating around.
Hey Graham, one of the things that I'm really passionate about is exposing young people. Like I've got kids that are in high school and middle school to the trades, to seeing what jobs they could do out there. Talk to me about what you think would get young people excited about a career in, welding and metal fab and woodwork and manufacturing. What was it about your childhood that got you excited about some of these things that you do today?
So we spent a lot of time at the shop, obviously at a young age, and so I've been kind of around a lot of the manufacturing kind of trades. And I've always had that kind of inkling to work with my hands and spend less time inside of books. A lot of my opportunities just come from just shadowing others and just always having that desire to learn more and kind of understand what that person is doing.
That's pretty cool. I suspect when you are on a job site and you see one of these installed, you're in Palm Beach, Florida, you're in Seattle, Washington, and you see one of these units, that you had a hand in developing the first prototypes and then developing the systems, and all the people in your fabrication. I bet there's a certain pride there that comes from your family and being involved as I don't know how old you were when your parents started this business. You were pretty young, obviously.
Very young.
And seeing all those stages, that's got to be pretty satisfying for you.
It is highly rewarding being able to kind of change the elevations in people's homes and allow them to kind of unlock some of that creativity.
And the best part is I get to take full credit of your craftsmanship, because no one says, hey Matt, that's a beautiful Viewrail staircase. They say, dang, that's a beautiful staircase in that Reisinger build.
That's right.
So thank you for making me look good on the job site, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay, y'all, Caleb Morris, the brand new president of Viewrail. Caleb, you've been involved in this business your whole life.
Yeah.
It's really fun to see you take over as that role of president. But first, tell me about the future of this company. Where are you guys headed?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for taking the time to come out here, Matt. Always fun to get to show you around. And,
I've known you a long time now.
See the sights here at Goshen. So what we are really seeking to do is to continue what we've started over the last couple of years, which is deepening our relationships with builders and architects and designers.
Yeah.
We really grew up in the business as being a bit of a homeowner-centric business and, shipping direct to consumers. But we've really learned that we need to spend a lot more time understanding what you need as a builder and what our A&D friends need in order to spec our products in correctly.
Sure, makes sense. And I'm hearing that these really cool vignettes are part of that process.
Yeah.
Where are these vignettes headed?
Yeah, those are headed out to Long Island for our first ever non-Goshen based showroom.
How about that? That's cool.
Yeah, we have a showroom opening here in just a few months, and they're getting ready to ship out here just in the next couple of days, actually.
These are really pretty. I like this. So brand new Long Island showroom. And then you're also bringing people here though, so they can see this display, talk to your people ahead of time before they get going on their projects, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we really want people to come out here, come to Goshen. I know it's not the easiest place in the world to get to, but Len will give you the best plant tour in the world. You'll get to see all the products, see all the new things we're doing with design and finishes, and it's really exciting.
It's really exciting. And I gotta tell you, let's end on this, Caleb. The flight curve, this one that's right here in front of us, this has got to be the coolest new release I've seen in years. I put this on Instagram last year. It blew up. This is kind of random, but I had an MMA fighter reach out to me on a DM and was like, hey, can you install that flight curve for me at my house? And I was like, no, but they can. Reach out to them.
That's right.
Everyone likes it. I mean, the fact that I got to see how it was built behind the scenes at your Skunk Works today too, and see, oh my gosh, this looks like it would need to be craned in place.
Yeah.
But in reality, we can build this in the house in a matter of a couple of days.
Yeah.
Everything walks through a regular man door. I mean, you guys have some really cool products.
Yeah. What I really like about the Curve product is we really started in a very traditional space. Box newels, iron balusters. We moved pretty quickly into a more modern contemporary space with the floating stairs, flight, cable railing, and glass railing. And this is really fusing a lot of those elements together because we have the closed railing system, but you also get the riserless stairways and some of the more modern construction of treads. And it's really bringing our past and our present and our future all together.
That's really cool. Let's end with this. Caleb, really people can work with you throughout North America. I'm even hearing that you guys are shipping stuff on containers to Caribbean places, all kinds of stuff. How do people work with you guys, and what's that process look like?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, best way is to start the journey at viewrail.com. You're able to come see a lot of the projects that we've done before. For our builder and architect and designer clients, we have account managers located throughout the U.S. That can come onto your job site, understand what you're really trying to accomplish as a builder, as an architect, as a designer, or you can work with our inside sales team here, based just in that building right up there.
That's pretty cool. And not only that, they can come out and help you measure for this on the job, make sure that everything's correct. The actual installer who might install for you can come out and verify, hey, everything looks great, we're ready to go. And then, as I've said before, their trucks show up with everything you need to make me as a builder look like an amazing craftsman.
That's the
when
goal.
Really, we're taking advantage of your craftsmanship here in Goshen, Indiana. Right in the heart of America. What a great trip, Caleb. I really appreciate it, man.
Always a pleasure.
A family-owned company with great values, building for other builders like me and you that have those same great values. This is a really cool company. Big thanks to Viewrail for having me out today to see this manufacturing and visit with their people. What a cool company. Come see these guys at IBS. I think every couple of years you guys come to PCBC. Hopefully I'll talk them into coming to Build Show live in the not too distant future. And go check out their new showroom in, is it in the
Long
Hamptons?
Island, in the Hamptons.
In the Hamptons. Very cool, Caleb. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Matt.
Guys, if you're not currently a subscriber, hit that subscribe button below. We've got new content here every Tuesday and every Friday. Follow me on Facebook or Instagram. Otherwise, you know how I close my videos. Will you help me close it out?
That's right.
We'll see you next time
On the Build Show.